Okay. Should we go to number 4? The inmost cave can be an actual location or inner conflict. The hero confronts shadows. This is where we're all confronting the shadows in ourselves, those parts of ourselves that we disown, that we don't really want to see, those negative qualities that we prefer not to look at. We put them, or sometimes even positive qualities that we don't want to look at. We put into our shadows, okay? But here, the hero has to confront her shadow. And there's some initial hesitations about approaching the in cave. Like, oh, I don't know if I quite want to go in. I've made it through all of these tests, but now I don't know if I really want to do this final thing of going and meeting myself, my deepest struggle in this cave. The hero sometimes pauses and reflects on the journey thus far, and they prepare for this final leap into what's next, this big unknown ordeal that's coming up. Some examples. Now, the way I want to present this, I'm going to do one other little twist. I know there's a lot of information here, but I'm going to do one other little twist, and that is that all of the Enneagram lines are connected in the middle. So each of the points are connected to 2 other points by 2 connecting lines. And what it turns out is that the hero's journey also mirrors these lines of connection. So the point 4 is connected to the 1 and the 2. The 1, the hero overcomes the hesitations by remembering why it is they went out on the journey in the first place. They remember why they answered the call. And the 4, the type 4, can move to 1 in a way that can be very healthy for the 4. They can become a little more objective about their emotions and so on, and we can talk about what that journey looks like. So, for example, Frodo is approaching the cave at Mount Doom, and he's sitting at the edge of the cave, and he's like, I can't go on. And Samwise Gamgee, I hope some of you have seen some of these movies anyway, Samwise Gamgee is like, you know what, Frodo? Remember the Shire? Remember the strawberries, what they tasted like? They were so good at the Shire. We're doing this for the Shire. We're doing it for home. You gotta press on and go to this last little bit. And when we also are at 4, it turns out 2 moves into 4, and so something about the mentor or the helper helps the hero right as he or she is entering the inmost cave. There's something that comes back to the hero. Even though the hero has to go into the ordeal alone, there's a helper moment there for the hero. And Samwise Gamgee tells Frodo, Frodo's like, oh, it's all dark. I can't even see the Shire. It's all black. He's moving into the shadow space. Samwise Gamgee says, I'm not allowed to touch the ring because I'll get really screwed up if I do that. I can't carry the ring for you, but I'll carry you. And so he puts Frodo on his back and he walks up to the edge of Mount Doom and carries Frodo there. So there's the helper coming back at the point 4. Luke fulfills his mission, rescuing Leia. Then he mourns Obi-Wan's death. So Obi-Wan, right at the end, is sacrificed. Oftentimes the mentor leaves or is lost, or Gandalf dies. So something that the mentor has to leave because we have to face the ordeal alone. And this is true in any process of transformation, spiritual transformation. Ultimately, we can get up to the gate with our teacher, with our teachings, but we got to go in alone, and we got to face the ordeal alone, right? And so there's this sense of mourning the loss. Maybe I'm not good enough because I'm not there with the teacher, so I need to be inspired again. Another example is Luke going into the cave at Dagobah. He meets his shadow self and discovers that he's really just confronting his own shadow. He's not really confronting Darth Vader. Okay, so those are some examples. And the 4 in all of us is working with the passion of envy. Envy is a kind of feeling the self as lacking. Something's missing. I don't quite have it all. Something important about me is off, is fundamentally flawed, is fundamentally not there. And so the envy for all of us is this longing, which is kind of comparison obsessed. Other people seem to have this fulfillment and I don't. And I wish I had that fulfillment that other people have. So there's a kind of longing for this thing that is missing, this thing that other people have. And it can be very emotionally intense and frustrating. And it even can sometimes, through this display of lack, is a kind of invitation for people to come rescue. Like if I can show you how flawed I am, then maybe you'll step in and help me out. And so this is where the 4 can get a little stuck, the 4 in all of us. And what's helpful for the 4 is equanimity. Balanced mind. Yeah, there's going to be all these emotional swells, all these ups and downs, all this sense that I'm not good enough, I'm too flawed, and yet we have to kind of have an even keel through all of these emotional ups and downs. And when we have that even keel, that balance of mind and heart, we're ready to accept things with a kind of sacred indifference. It's not an apathy. It's more of a, I can be engaged and I can accept whatever comes. I'm ready to accept whatever comes in life. And this releases our tendency to compare ourselves to other people, think that we're not good enough. You know what? I am who I am. I'm ready to go. Whatever's next. So bring it all together. The 4 integrates the shadow and ready for the supreme ordeal.